Hi, my name is Birch and I run Overcoming Low Self-Esteem. I'm a life coach to help people feel better about themselves. I've just read a message on Twitter about somebody who feels bad if somebody follows her, then reads what she has to say, then finds it uninteresting and then unfollows her. She feels bad about herself. She says she has fragile self-esteem. Well, I'd like to analyse this by looking at the 6 pillars of self-esteem that Nathaniel Branden talked about. They are personal integrity, living according to your values, living consciously, being realistic about things. Third one is self-responsibility. Then there's self-acceptance and self-assertiveness. And then there's living purposefully, living according to how you want your life to be and having an overall purpose, perhaps living in the context of another group or a worthy goal. Now, going back to this girl, somebody followed her and then she thought, okay, they're reading what she has to say, not liking it, and then leaving. It's very similar. Somebody unfriends you in Facebook, unsubscribes in YouTube and various other social media that's out there. What if somebody walks away from what you're delivering? Let's look at personal integrity, the first of the 6 pillars of self-esteem. If you're sending out messages about what's really worthwhile to you, then that may not mean that you'll feel so bad. The World Cup is on at the moment. If you're talking about football or soccer and you really like it, it may not bother you if people don't want to hear about that. If you're not talking about what you really like, if you are talking about something that other people are talking about, you're just joining in the conversation, perhaps you're not adding as much, and perhaps it would be more interesting to people to talk about what you really like. Now, if you're talking about what goes on for you, well, and how you're feeling, it is personal, it is worthwhile. Let's look at some of the other areas. Next one, living consciously. This is a lot about being realistic, about accepting mistakes. So let's look at her statement. She feels bad when people find what her messages uninteresting and they unfollow her. How does she know they find it uninteresting? Because she hasn't said that they say, I find you uninteresting, so I'm going to unfollow you. So I think she's guessing why they stop following. There are all sorts of automated systems and different ways that people use Twitter and Facebook. They may unfollow somebody that doesn't follow them back immediately. They may be short of time. They may have not really been sure who they were following, followed somebody, realized that they have different interests and then unfollow them. They may be busy, they may have made a mistake. There's all sorts of reasons why people will try something out and stop then, do something else. But the important thing is for her to start understanding the reasons, the actual evidence that she has that what happened, the unfollow, is anything to do with the person's level of interest in her. Okay? And even if it is, well, if she's tweeting about what she really is passionate about, the personal integrity bit, what she finds valuable in life, then, they seem to have they may have different values, and what does it matter? Now, let's talk about self-responsibility, the third pillar. This one, well, self-responsibility, it's about being responsible for yourself, for your actions. If she wants to get more followers, then it's up to her to do things about that. And if they unfollow, well, maybe she's doing the right things, but she simply isn't. Maybe she just simply isn't what they want to talk about. It's not so relevant, so let's move on to self-acceptance and self-assertiveness. She's giving out messages, tweeting about what she's interested in, what's right for her, then it may be possible to just accept that for herself. Say, these are going to be my messages. Some people will like that, some people won't like that. Accept what she's doing is okay, she's doing the right things. Essentially accept that she is interesting for the right audience. Is it realistic? We're back to living consciously. Is it realistic to be interesting and to want everybody to follow you? Well, no. So what does it matter if people come in and out? If there's any measure, surely it's that overall the number of followers goes up, or perhaps that there's the right sort of communication with the followers, that they show some interest. Self-assertiveness, well, is she giving enough messages out? Is she saying what she really feels? Is she essentially being assertive according to her needs and doing the right things for her? Then there's living purposefully. This may or may not be relevant to a personal blog or personal set of messages. Are you living? Are you talking about what's important to you? I'm doing this. I'm talking about overcoming low self-esteem. Well, that's interesting for me, but it is it's interesting for me. It makes me feel that I'm living according to a purpose. I think this is important in life. But if it's not, interesting to other people, if I was tweeting about something it wasn't important to me, then I wouldn't be living according to that. My purpose, probably not according to my personal integrity and values, and therefore, I'm less likely to feel great about myself. So now we've looked at why somebody may be feeling good or feeling bad about themselves according to the 6 pillars of self-esteem. And in the context of tweets, in context of Twitter, 6 pillars of self-esteem are personal integrity, living consciously, self-responsibility, self-acceptance, self-assertion, and living purposefully. I'm Brian Birch, and I run Overcoming Low Self-Esteem. I'm a life coach for helping people have great self-esteem and feel great about themselves, accept themselves, know themselves, understand themselves, and live the life that they would like to live. If you'd like to hear more, please join the email on my website, and you'll hear more. You'll get more videos from me.